House Committee now reconvened. It is 1:40 p.m. on September 13th, 2023. So thank you, members, for coming back. Well, it is what it is, right? I'm trying to rally all your chickadees together. So thank you all for being here and for staying late. So today, a couple of people have to get on the other side by 5 o'clock this evening. So if you could just all help each other so that we can allow them to leave here at least by 4. So if we could have a harder hard out at 4 as opposed to 4:30, just to make sure that all the members who need to go on the west side are going to get there safely. Chair Lee, did you have a question?
What's going on the west side?
Party, no. EPA at 5.
Where?
At the west end, I believe. You want the address?
Yeah, maybe we can go. The rest of us can go.
You guys all like to go out there. Well,
yeah, I'm meeting with the I don't know if anyone else is, but
I think Shane was going to go out there too, and
never mind. I thought it was a public thing.
It kind of is. It's always a public thing, right?
Well,
with the
sunshine
top
law.
of EPA.
Yeah.
That's here right now.
Well, I think up to you guys if you folks want to go. I mean, I always think those things are public, so. But the announcement is just to make sure we have a hard out at 4 so that you all can get there and get back, just be safe, everyone. Okay, so thank you. So at this point, so when had the governor's liaison been here, we would have had to ask her a ton of questions, right? So what I want to do now is make sure that we get those questions asked and then we get them answered. So we're still going to send them to the governor. But I don't know is how do you want it done? Do you folks just want to send your questions to the committee? Because what I'd like to do is, yes, Member Paulton.
I did do that already.
Okay. So if anybody didn't send your questions, if you had any additional questions that you thought you could ask the governor's liaison, but she's not here. So I'm asking if you folks want to just write it and send it, and the committee will send it on to the governor. Member Hodgins and then Member Shirley.
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy to both write it to you and then say it as well.
Okay.
I think I at least work better when I hear everybody else's questions, and then it helps me formulate my own.
Okay, great. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Member Lee, Shirley?
I was wondering if Nani Medeiros had given you information already. No. So she was going to present it all today.
She would have if she would have stayed long enough to work on it, I think, but I hadn't gotten anything from her regarding anything at all.
So you're talking about projects that were approved or would be approved by the state.
Right, because they had that working group, right? That they put together, and then they would come up with those guys that would say okie dokie to the project, right? So I didn't get anything. Member Paulton?
I was meeting with her in the 3 days prior to her resignation. And we were discussing West Maui areas that we could put out there as the start of a framework of areas. And so she was supportive of Pulelehua, it seemed,
definitely.
And the two Ikaika Ohana projects. And then we also had discussed the 50-acre park as like temporary permanent for like 5-10 years, as well as the 40 acres that Maui Land and Pine had above the community garden, also temporary permanent. But I guess the thing that we discussed on the last time was that the emergency housing proclamation had some safeguards, and they were looking to amend that based on community feedback. But the governor's emergency wildfire proclamation had like no safeguards. And so that was one of my questions is like, she had said like West Maui is not a part of the emergency house housing proclamation because it was so soon when we first discussed it and people were really, really raw at that time. And then in the last meeting, she mentioned that, you know, there's the emergency housing proclamation and then there's the emergency wildfire proclamation, which that's kind of my question is, you know, it suspends all these laws without any kind of safeguard at all, and it suspends Chapter 46 and all these things. So the question is, if West Maui isn't really included, like she said, in the emergency housing proclamation because we need time, then how does the emergency wildfire proclamation give us time and protections from those things? So that's the main question. And with all these layers of emergency proclamations, does anyone know like who's in charge?
Okay, that's a good question. Okay, I didn't say I didn't know. I just said that's a good question. So I just want to make sure that our staff is getting it so that we get it right. Right? Okay. So that's a good question. Member Sedemsky.
Thank you, Chair. My first question would be on page 4 of the emergency proclamation relating to housing. At the bottom of page 4, state lead housing officer, as we heard that Ms. Medeiros had resigned. So is this position going to continue and be filled, or he's doing away with this position? Oh, there's an interim. Okay.
There's an interim? Do we have an interim name?
Yes, Chair. He was here the other day. Scott Glenn.
Scott Glenn. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Member Hodgins. And then the other one was, I was going to personally send my own letter, but my question was, or my request was to delay the opening date. We did hear yesterday from, and at previous meetings, I believe the governor had even considered November and December dates for reopening. But hearing that Mr. Tokioka yesterday saying that he was only opening so that some of the timeshares could keep their reservation dates, if he's going to continue to have that date, maybe, and it's just for timeshares, maybe the hotel, we could extend the hotel stays for some of our displaced families. So that was my my other question to him. And then, of course, and my last one was just maybe reconsidering Chapter 92. Chair, we did have a lot of testimony from members about residents about coming to Lahaina and about us. Kind of a lot of it was directed to us, but you know, it's hard for us to respond to them if Chapter 92 HRS on public meetings and the Sunshine Law is being suspended. We can't, you know, really be that voice. You know, we talked about us being the voice for the people. We talked about closing this gap. And I think some of these proclamations, should he reconsider these, would definitely do that, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we got that. Staff is, okay. Okay. Yes, Council Chair?
What did you mean by that? Just now? The proclamation with what? With regard to the venues we've been looking for?
Chair,
Yes.
if I may, Chapter 92 HRS on public meetings, is that the one with Sunshine? So,
Okay. No, we're talking about not being able to find venues.
I think just including for testimonies, so that we can still have people come and I guess testify.
Well, you know, if I may, we were able to find the Westin of all, I mean, we called all the hotels. There are only two, Ritz which wouldn't be available until the 25th or something like that. And then the Weston was the only one that would give us two in a row, two openings in a row. And so please keep that in mind, everybody. If we're kind of reserving those times for the great committee. So if your other committees would like to go, probably now is not the time, because you won't be able to find a place, you know. So the main thing is the great committee goes first, and we can get as much feedback as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're on a great committee, so we'll all be there. Member Paulton?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, in addition to the hotels, maybe we can try Lahaina Luna at the cafeteria, or Maui Prep at the cafeteria. Maui Prep if it's like a Saturday or evening, or the gymnasium at Maui Prep. Lahaina Luna is not in session right now, so maybe during regular daytime hours we could do Lahaina Luna cafeteria. It's at the very top. But I heard some folks saying that they're trying to aim for the end of fall break to get the students back there, so we can experience firsthand if the air quality is sufficient.
Okay, can I answer that? Maui Prep is available after 6:30 at night. That's the problem. So if you want to have a meeting after 6:30 at night, or from 6:30 on, then we thought that was too late. So the other one, Lahaina Luna, the staff was looking at the schools, but they thought that it was too close to the burn areas, so I can ask them to look again.
Member Paulton, go ahead.
Yeah, and then just wondering if Saturday at Maui Prep would be an option if we're in a crunch.
We can check on that. We also checked on all the churches, by the way. And for some reason, the church, I don't know why, they said yes, but we have to give them the names and addresses of people who attend. We didn't think that would be proper. Well, of the testifiers. Why would they need that information?
Did you ask the church?
Yeah, we just felt, we don't have to tell them, why do you need the information? I mean, you know.
But we would, right? We want to know.
Well, we could. We just didn't want to, antagonize anybody unnecessarily.
Yeah. But, I mean,
Why would the church need to have that information? Yeah?
ask the church. Yeah. Sorry. But I think if Maui Prep is open to a Saturday, and if our staff is open to a Saturday, I don't know, because I know that's OT for all you guys. Oh, do you guys all get OT? Do you guys get OT? No, right? We're all salaried.
Of course we don't get OT.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that Saturday would be okay. Trying to take a straw poll. Okay. But I like the idea of a Saturday, because then it's a longer meeting, right? And we could do something really, I think, meaningful.